Now I shall teach you another Jain Sutra from Lord Mahavira, the father of Jainism. Just understand Jainism to be advanced Buddhism. This is how I really want my students to understand it. Buddhism is the basic training reforms of Hindu teachings that Gautama Siddhartha the Buddha learned in his time when his father was the king of North India. He learned the teachings as a prince, and he really modified and simplified all these beautiful teachings for us to get a lot of beauty, to improve our characters and come to enlightenment and get away from the sufferings of this world. Because it's not necessary to be suffering in this world if you understand suffering. If you have an understanding from a great teacher like the Buddha, you get to understand suffering, you can become enlightened. You can get away from the suffering state of craving and ignorance. So the Buddha is created with these wonderful teachings, but then there's an advanced level. What do I do after my degree in college? Well, after a degree in college, you can go to work. You make a comfortable living with your first degree. But you can take a PhD. You can go to graduate school and take graduate. So this is like graduate Buddhism. Jainism is the next level, is the advanced form, super advanced of Buddhism. If you want to go further in discipline your mind even further, restrain yourself even more from material things. Do no harm, absolutely no harm to animals and to humans. Okay, these guys, they really go further. The Jains, they go further in their discipline, their self-restraint. They are very careful not to do harm to even cockroaches, even ants on the ground. They spare the ants. Mahavira says, even when the mosquitoes are biting you, don't kill the mosquito. These are challenging to even me, your teacher. Mosquito is biting me, I probably slap the mosquito, right? I mean, Mahavira says, let the mosquitoes drink the blood. I can't, my training, with 30 years of training in Buddhism, I'm still challenged, right? Wonderful, the mosquito is biting, I'm going to snap it. Mosquito is biting, hey, mosquito, right? Mahavira says, leave the mosquito, let it drink your blood. Now, this is like Jesus Christ telling you, love your enemies. See that? They are similar, but you have to understand when Jesus Christ is saying that, he's not saying it to kindergarten schools for a PhD. Jesus Christ understands that you have to train. Mahavira knows, if he tells me, even me, the teacher teaching right now, not to kill mosquitoes, if I see a mosquito really drinking my blood and I'm getting irritated, I'm going to snap it, right? At least drive it. Hey, get away. But I'm not going to let it feed on my blood. These are trainings, great training. So you have to get a very great discipline. You have to train for even more than 30 years, like I've trained in the discipline. You have to go further to actually understand how to, how to perfect yourself in relationship to all these wonderful living beings without doing harm, absolutely no harm. So this is where Jainism really goes to the other advanced level. So I'm going to read you this sutra called The Very Learned. I shall explain in due order the right discipline of a houseless monk or nun who has got rid of all worldly ties. Sometimes instead of monk or nun, I'll just use monastic. That's another good idea, right? So just to make it easy, once you hear monastic, you know I'm referring, it's for both male and female. Okay. Who has got rid of all worldly ties? Listen to me. That's verse 1. I'm going to 2. He who is ignorant of the truth, egoistical, greedy, without self-discipline, and who talks loosely is called ill-behaved and void of learning. Verse 3. There are 5 causes which render wholesome discipline impossible: egoism, delusion, carelessness, illness, and idleness. 4 and 5. For 8 courses, discipline is called virtue, not to be found of merit, to control oneself, not to be fond of men, to control oneself, not to speak evil of others, not to be without discipline, not to be of wrong discipline, not to be covetous, not to be choleric, to love the truth. For their influence, discipline is called virtue. A monk or nun, a monastic, who is liable to the following 14 charges is called ill-behaved. Ill-behaved. And does not reach nirvana, does not reach perfect peace, heavenly peace. If he is frequently angry, if he perseveres in his wrath, if he spurns friendly advice, if he's proud of his learning, if he finds fault with others, if he's angry even with friends, if he speaks evil even of a good friend behind his back, if he's positive in his assertions, if he's malicious, egoistical, greedy, without self-discipline, if he does not share with others, if he is always unkind, then he is called ill-behaved. But for the following 15 good qualities, he is called well-behaved. If he is always humble, steady, free from deceit and curiosity, if he abuses nobody, if he does not persevere in his wrath, if he listens to friendly advice, if he is not proud of his learning, if he does not find fault with others, if he is not angry with friends, if he speaks well, even of a bad friend behind his back, if he abstains from quarrels and rows, if he is enlightened, polite, decent, and quiet, then he is called well-behaved. Well-behaved. He who always acknowledges his allegiance to his teacher. He who always acknowledges his allegiance to his teacher, who has religious zeal and ardor for study. Religious zeal and ardor for study. Who is kind in words and actions, deserves to be instructed. As water put into a shell shines with a double brilliancy, so do the piety, fame, and knowledge of a very learned monk or nun, monastic. As a trained Kamboga steed, whom no noise frightens, exceeds all other horses in speed, so a very learned monk is superior to all others. As a valiant hero bestriding a trained horse, which heralds singing out to his right and left, has no equal, neither has a very learned monk. As a strong and irresistible elephant of 60 years, surrounded by his females, has no equal, neither has a very learned monk. As a sharp-horned, strong-necked bullock, the leader of the herd, is a fine sight, so is a very learned monk. As a proud lion with sharp fangs, who brooks no assault, is superior to all animals, so is a very learned monk, superior to all men. As Vasudeva, the god, with the conch, discourse, and club, who fights with an irresistible strength, has no equal, neither has a very learned monk. As a universal monarch with his fourfold army and great power, the possessor of the 14 attributes of a king, has no equal, neither has a very learned monk or nun, monastic. By now you should have got the idea. As Sakra, the thousand-eyed, the wielder of the thunderbolt, the fortress destroyer, the king of gods, has no equal, neither has a very learned monk. As the rising sun, the dispeller of darkness, who burns as it were with light, has no equal, neither has a very learned monk. As the moon, the queen of the stars, surrounded by the asterisms, when she is full at full moon, has no equal, neither has a very learned monk. as a well-guarded storehouse of merchants, which is filled with grain of many kinds, has no equal, neither has a very learned monk or nun, monastic. As the best of gambo trees, the best of gambo trees called Sudasa, which is the abode of the presiding deity, has no equal, neither has a very learned monk or nun, monastic. As the best of rivers, the ocean-flowing stream Sita, with its dark waters, has no equal, neither has a very learned monk or nun, monastic. As the best of hills, high Mount Mandara, on which various plants shed a bright luster, has no equal, neither has a very learned monk or nun, that is monastic. As the ocean of inexhaustible water, the delight of Svayambhu, which is full of precious things of many kinds, has no equal, neither has a very learned monk or nun, monastic. Monks, nuns, monastics who equal the ocean in depth, who are difficult to overcome, are frightened by nobody or nothing, and are not easily assailed, who are full of extensive learning, and take care of themselves, will go to the highest place after their karma has been annihilated. Therefore, seeker after the highest truth, study the sacred law in order to cause yourself and others to attain perfection. Thus I say, a word is enough for the wise.